Yes, thank you. There's been discussion and perhaps some consensus that there should be some form of cap and trade or cap and invest, and clearly there's just agreement at the higher level, but no real pragmatic discussion of how this will affect consumers. And I think you all have your idea of what cap and trade would be. You know, obviously politics is going to shift it, but how is this really going to affect us? What's the cost-benefit analysis for consumers? Thank you.
Well, in fact, there are a number of studies about that, and the fact of the matter is the cap and trade would, in general, it will raise prices because it would make, in effect, producers have to pay for the emissions that they create, because every time you emit another unit, you have to buy another allowance, and there's a market price for allowances. That gets passed through to consumers. There's no easy way around that. Some folks have suggested, well, we should insulate consumers from the price increases. For example, some electric utilities have said we should somehow get a rebate from the government so we don't have to raise electricity prices. On some grounds that may seem appealing, but on other grounds it entirely contradicts a key purpose of cap and trade, which is to encourage conservation. So I think there's other ways of protecting consumers. It was alluded to already by Kristen, which is that if you auction a lot of the allowances, you can bring in a lot of revenue, and that revenue can be redirected back to households, as under the cap and dividend program, or it can be used to pay for tax cuts. And you could, in particular, target the households that you think are most deserving. For example, you could target the revenue rebate, especially at the lower end of the income distribution, to undo what would otherwise be an inequitable situation. Finally, let me say that there are numerous models, computer models, both at the federal level and at the California level, that have tried to estimate the impact on consumers. So, for example, the Air Resources Board from California just recently did a study that indicates that its program in the year 2020 would have an effect of raising the cost to consumers somewhere per household, somewhere between about $25 a household to $240 per household. Per year, but this is in the year 2020. So that's when it's in full effect, when the cap has really been ratcheted down a lot. A study by Charles River Associates, using less optimistic assumptions, assumes that it has a range of about $1,200 to $2,200 per household. That's the cost, though, in 2020. And recognize that the average California household over this period, under this policy, will increase its income by about $17,000. So in the worst case, instead of having your income go up per household by $17,000, it's going to go up by, let's say, 15 or 16. Now, you might still find that that's unacceptable, but I'm just trying to give an idea of the magnitudes here.
I think there's been federal studies, what the EPA likes to say, a postage stamp a day. Is that an accurate number?
Your math is faster than mine. I don't know, but
okay.
It sounds about right.
And that same study said that it would cost a postage stamp a day, but it would deploy no new clean energy above what the business as usual scenario would deploy.
Michael Shellenberger is president of the Breakthrough Institute. We're talking about climate change and cap and trade at Climate One at the Commonwealth Club. I'm Greg Dalton. Next question.